Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another Monday morning motivation. I'm excited to be here with you this morning. If you are joining me for the first time, I am Joan T. Randall. I am the founder of Victorious You Press and the creator of the Books to Business and Beyond model and boot camp and Facebook group. I take the guesswork out of writing, the fear out of publishing, and I empower individuals to use their book and deliver their message to the marketplace so that they can build an author brand, they can create legacy, and they can get a return on their investment. Good morning, Apostle. It is so nice to see you this morning. Good morning. Come on in the room. And as you come in, let me know where you're streaming from this morning. I'm going to go to my group so that I can say hello to those who, let me just turn off this ringer so you're not hearing. Yeah, I'm in Books to Business and Beyond. Yeah, perfect. So, good morning. Good morning. Thank you for coming in this morning. So, if you look at the title of this live, I was just asking the question, how many people have impacted? How many people have you impacted or served last week? Because one of the things I did last week was share. Good morning, Stacy, Diane, Marie. I call out your whole government name, but I love it. I love to say it. But one of the things that I shared with you or asked you to do last week was to impact or serve someone, one person or five people. So I would love to get the feedback of how many of you went out of your way to serve last week. We talked last week that this is the month of grace and favor. And I was requesting that whoever watched me, good morning, Patrick, that whoever watched me would go out of their way to do something great, something good for someone, something out of kindness, giving, praying, serving. Uh, I asked authors if they had books to give away, 5 books last week. Let me just say this about my tea here, right? So I'm drinking out of my own cup, right? Listen, if you have a business, you should have your own cup with your face on your cup. That's beside the point. But this is my favorite tea ever. Ever since I went to Kenya, Patrick, you can relate to this. Ever since I went to Kenya in 2021, I got their Kericho Gold Kenyan, pure Kenyan tea. It is the best tea. This has helped me to quit drinking coffee because if you drink coffee every day and you don't drink it one day, you have this crazy headache. So I started to drink the Kenya Gold tea, and it's absolutely delicious. And you can treat it the same way as coffee. I put cream in my tea. I've always done that ever since a little girl. I saw my parents drink tea with cream in it. And so I've done that. But back to what I was saying earlier. How many of you has served someone or did something kind or given away your books last week? I want to hear. So if you're coming in, drop it in the chat. If not, we will continue. So let me share with you what my week was like last week. All right. So last week, I was able to impact personally. Personally, I'm not talking through social media, I'm talking completely outside of social media. I was able to impact 4 lives, right? Just by serving. One person, I went to do a well check on them, totally disrupted my day. I wouldn't say that. It was not, my day was not disrupted. I served because I wanted to. I dropped everything I was doing and I went to serve. That was Wednesday. On Thursday, I ended up canceling all of my business plans to serve 2 people in my family, right? It took me the entire day until 4 p.m. And then when I came home to do my other stuff and to get on with my Bible study, I had no internet, right? So I had absolutely no internet. Friday morning, I still had no internet. So I had to leave my house again on Friday and go someplace where I could find internet so I could do at least some work. And in the middle of Friday, I ended up having to shut down my work and go somewhere else again to help someone. So I helped personally, put everything aside, drop what I had to do, and help 4 people last week. Right, my goal was 5. I personally did 4, but it doesn't mean that I didn't help more. Right. Here's what I wanted to share with you: is that prayer is free. Love is a gift from God, and love is free. Right. Giving is free. And sometimes when you find your place or find yourself in a place where you're not feeling good, sometimes serving brings you a level of satisfaction, a level of peace, a level of joy. Good morning, Bree. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for jumping on. But it gives you a level of joy. And so serving is free. Serving is a gift. It's a gift that you give someone, and it's a gift that you get back because you get back the satisfaction that you served. And so we want you to continue to do that for the month of May. All right. Also, I spent all day, well, not all day, on Saturday and Sunday, I spent 10 hours from 3 to 8 both days, like completely shut everything out, 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday, learning about artificial intelligence. All right. Why am I even mentioning this on Monday Morning Motivation? I am mentioning it because we have to stay in the know. We have to stay current. We cannot be living in a world where things are changing and not try to at least change with the world, or else you are going to be caught in the informational divide where you right in the middle of the pit that you're going to fall into. Now, there are reasons for knowing, right? There are reasons for knowing or wanting at least to get the knowledge. I'm not telling you that you have to use it, but I'm telling you that you need to know. You need to be aware, right? In the 10-hour class, I learned that there is a bill on the floor right now, right? That is getting ready to be debated and passed because of artificial intelligence, right? There is something out there in the artificial intelligence world called AGI, right? And AGI is where they think the probability of AI becoming almost human is possible. This is what is going on in the real world, okay? Right? Remember how we watched The Matrix and all those sci-fi movie where AI started talking and started, these robots started becoming like human beings. Okay, there is a bill on the floor about that they're trying to make sure that that does not happen. So I'm sharing things with you on this Monday morning motivation that really have nothing to do with a scripture per se, but it really does have something to do with a scripture, right? You've got to get knowledge and understanding. And it is not just for a spiritual perspective, it is also for the world that we are living in now to understand it. So we know how to pray, we know how to act, we know how to show up, we know how to continue to walk in our purpose, we know how to position ourselves, and we know the presence, the state of mind that we need to be in to navigate the world we're living in now. How do we teach our children and the next generation to understand the pros and the cons of what is happening in our world right now? All right. And that's why I spent 10 hours on this weekend learning. And I am telling you, it was an eye opener, and it will forever change the way I do business. It will forever change the way I do business. So it was time well worth it. The investment was worth it. The course could have been thousands of dollars. It was not. I'm so happy that I paid for it because now I have a duty and a responsibility to share what I know with those that are in my circle, right? My circle of influence, and I will. The next thing I want to share with you is that we have this conference happening in Charlotte, a women's conference for my ministry. I Believe God Ministry International. My apostle, Juanita Corey Jackson, is our pastor. I am the director of the women's ministry, and we're putting on this conference. We only have 3 tickets left, right? At this point, I'm going to call it sold out because we didn't count the children, and children are coming and they are a part of the number, right? So I can like officially say we're sold out. We may have 3 tickets left, and I may be able to give that away this morning, or pay for a couple of people to come if you cannot, um, if you don't have the money to do it. But one of the things we're going to discuss this conference is about purpose, position, and presence. How to show up in your purpose, right? I heard my pastor said something recently that stuck with me, and she was talking about um, how God placed purpose in us, and have we given him a return on his investment, right? The Holy Spirit invested in us. Every gift, talent, skills, ability, the things that he purposed and put us on earth to do, have we given him a return on his investment? Or is fear and things that has happened in life prevented us from giving God an ROI? What have we done that we can say, Lord, for every gift you have given me, I have used it. For every gift that you have given me, I've gone out and I have multiplied. For every gift that you have given me, I've gone out and I've sown it and I've watered it. And it's, a harvest is coming or has come as a result. Have you given God the return on his investment? For every time he's taking you out of a pit, for every time he's taking you out of a difficult situation, for every time he has blessed your children, for every time he has covered your children from things that may have happened to them, where you can only say, it's through prayer while my kids are still here. For every blessing that he has given you, for every sickness that he has healed, have you given him a return on his investment? And that is what I want you to think about today. Have you given God a return on his investment? In May, on March, I'm sorry, we're in May. On May 27th, I am doing a writing workshop. This is a little bit different because it's called Pages to Profit, right? And so it's a different spin on writing. A lot of people think that they can't write their stories, or they have nothing to write because there is nothing really exciting that happened in their life, right? I want to show you something different. I want to show you writing from a different perspective. I want to show you how you can incorporate the 5, we talked about this last week, the 5 characteristics of your favor, right? We talked last week about hearing, seeing, tasting, smelling, feeling. 5 characteristics of your favor, right? I want to talk about that. I want to show you how you can use those 5 things and write, right? I want to show you how, as you are on vacation, how you can incorporate those 5 characteristics of favor to write something. I want to show you how, as you're taking a walk, you can incorporate those 5 characteristics of favor in writing. I want to show you that. So that is something different. I also want to make you aware of speak to write, right? I love the pen because a spiritual transformation happens when you write, when you use the pen, right? But there are other ways to write, right? And you can speak to write. And so I want to share with you that as you are journaling, or as you are traveling, or as you're on sightseeing, or has as you do your daily workout, your daily walk, that you can take inspiration from what you see, hear, taste, smell, and feel, and you can record that, right? And as you record it, it can be transcribed by a transcription service, and you have a manuscript ready to be edited. So there's so many things that you can do now with the power of AI and with the power of all these technology out there, right? Don't get lost. Good morning, Amy. Good morning. Good morning, Pastor Lexi. Don't get lost in the lack of knowledge. Don't get lost, right? I know some of us hear AI, Chat GPT, and it sounds like foreign. Yes, it is foreign unless you put yourself in a position to understand, what does all of this mean? What does it all mean? Pastor Lexi posts a lot about things that are happening in the banking industry, right? There are so many things getting ready to happen, right? Because at some point, right, it is going to come down the pike where you cannot even take your cash and deposit it into banks, right? They're going to tell you you're only allowed to deposit a certain amount of cash in your bank. So all the people out there that are stacks and stacks of cash in the bank, there is going to come a day when that is going to be zero, is going to worth nothing, because they're talking about a totally different structure than cash. Pastor Lexi on her show, The Wealth Seed, talks all the time about buying commodities, silver, gold, coins, buying those things because they're going to worth more in the end than paper money, because that's going to be gone. So all I'm sharing this with you is for you to understand that you have to get the knowledge. You have to be in the know. You have to feed yourself the information, right? And this is not just for the young people. And I don't like when people say, "Oh, I'm too old to learn." No, you're not. I'm 58 years old. 58. And I took a 10-hour class to learn about Chat GPT, artificial intelligence, and all this other stuff that I learned. Discord, Mind Journey, Midjourney, and Playground, right? And by the end of today, I am going to have a talking head of myself. I'm going to use my picture, and I'm going to put it in an artificially intelligence way of putting my own headshot and speaking without even opening my mouth. So I'm going to use a still shot of myself, and I'm going to run a overview of my upcoming event, and I'm going to post it to Facebook, and you're going to see every expression on my face, and you're going to hear me talking about the event, but I'm using a still photo of me. I want you guys to be educated and to be in the know. And even if you decide that you're not going to pay a dime, you still need to get the information, at least understand it. I'm inviting you to two things, right? If you're in Charlotte, you have to come to the women's conference here. And if you are not, so the women's conference is the 19th through the 21st, and my writing course is the 27th. My writing masterclass is going to be different. Yeah, why? Because I've learned some new stuff that is going to take writing to a whole nother level. A whole nother level. Right? And so I am sharing this information with you this morning. It's a little different than my Monday morning motivation, but I want you to have this knowledge to be able to understand what is happening in our world. Our world is different, right? And we have to help our children get there. So don't get caught. I don't care how old you are. As long as you have a phone and you have a computer, you have access to the information. Don't let fear and doubt and you tell yourself, or you telling yourself that you're too old for this, prevent you from knowing. I also want to share that some of us are so stubborn and so set in our ways so set in our old antiquated ways, right? And I'm talking to everyone, including myself. Just know that everything I say about myself too. But some of us are so set in our old antiquated ways that when God sends the answers to your prayers, you look down on it or ignore it and continue to say, God, send me an answer. And God is saying to you, how many times have I sent you the answer, but because it doesn't look like what you expect, you have ignored it? And so we sit here and we talk to you. I talk to you Monday after Monday after Monday, and you still refuse to take action. Pastor Lexi speaks Wednesday after Wednesdays after Wednesdays, and you don't do anything with what she's telling you about with what is going to happen in this world with money, right? Apostle comes on Thursdays and Sundays and teach, and you hear it, and the minute it's over, then it stops there for you. God has sent you the opportunity to invest, to learn, to sow in yourself, to help you navigate, to help you understand your purpose, to help you stay in position, to help you have a presence, and you ignore it because you tell yourself that is not for me, or I can't afford it, or I don't have the time. It's not for me. I can't afford it. I don't have the time. Some of us are so busy surfing the internet, surfing Facebook, surfing Instagram for hours every single day. We comment on everybody's post and we spend hours wasting time instead of digging deep into who we are and creating the ROI for God. The return on the investment that God has placed in you that you still have not yet done anything for his ROI. So you have to say to yourself, what have I done with every gift or all the gift that God has given me? What have I done with it? Who have I impacted? Who have I sown into? What have I done with my life? And I know when you get to a certain age, you feel like time is running by. I know for me, the minute I hit 50, I knew there's no time. I can't waste time no more. Wait a minute. Where is the time going? I'm 50? Right now I'm 58. The time is like, where did 8 years go since I turned 50? Right? But I'm telling you, I am on this. I know the time is going. This is a sense of urgency. There's a sense of urgency for the children of God. There is a sense of urgency for now. Too many, look around you. Times are changing. Things are different. Even the atmospheric pressure feels different. There is snow in California, or there has been snow in California. There's earthquake in diverse places. There's stuff that is happening that makes no sense to us in the natural. You have got to recognize that something is different about the times we are living in. They're using computer to be like people. And there's going to come a point where all of these administrative jobs and jobs that in factories and jobs at Amazon centers and all of that stuff is going to be gone. What are you going to do then? There are robots now serving Chick-fil-A and McDonald's. In McDonald's in California, there is a McDonald's with only robots. There are no people in the store except the cooks, of course. But they don't touch anything. They don't, there's no, you drive through and you touch it on the thing and your stuff comes out. I saw that in a Chick-fil-A recently. I was like, wait a minute. I pull up in the drive-through, babe. There was nobody out there in the drive-through. I had to type my stuff in on the robot standing out there. So you cannot sit in comfort and in lackadaisics. This is a sense of urgency for the children of God. Right? Times are changing. And if you don't change with the times, you're going to get left behind. You're going to be confused when things start popping off. Stacy just said the convention center. Oh, wait a minute. Let me get Stacy. The convention center in DC was testing out AI police dogs. My Lord. Apostle says, what have you done with what you already have? Ask yourself. Listen, this conference that we're having here in Charlotte, it is going to be a different type of conference. It is specifically for women. And you're going to have to engage, because how we're running this conference this year is not for you to sit as a spectator. And what I find so interesting, Pastor Lexi and Apostle, and this goes out to you too. What I find so interesting is that we can pay thousands of dollars to go to the International Leadership Academy with TD Jakes. And I love TD Jakes. I'm not knocking him. We have to spend for plane fare, hotel accommodation, hundreds of dollars for tickets, because tickets start from VIP to regular. And depending on where you want to sit, you're paying for those tickets. And we go there, and guess what? It's the very same thing that Pastor Lexi, Apostle, teaches. And then you have to buy his book. And he's a multimillionaire. I'm not knocking him. Please don't misunderstand this. I am just saying, sometimes our priority are in the wrong place. Pastor Lexi says all of these movies about, yes, when you see it in the movies, it is already here. It's already been created. Do you think they just make the stuff up out of their head? There has been stuff being tested. There are Walmart centers that have been Walmart food store that have been closed down, completely gutted, and they're building underground bunkers in these Walmart. Listen, all I'm saying is be wise. This is not to scare you. This is to empower you to take control of you and what you know. This is all I'm saying. Yesterday, Saturday, and Sunday, when I tell you this 10-hour training was an eye-opener for me. And so often, and I'm going back to my age, right? You know, I'm never afraid to share my age. I'm 58. But I remember Pastor Lexi's on. I remember that I quit my job. I didn't quit. I retired from my 25-year career in retail in 2015. I was a regional vice president when I retired, because I felt like I'd been in retail for so long. I felt lost. There was nothing else left. And I remember starting my business in 2016. Patricia says, my niece has been telling the family about being built, and she was laughing. That's what I'm telling you. It ain't nothing to laugh about. People who laugh are the people that have no need for knowledge, right? Or think it's crazy. You think it is not. Listen, all right. When I tell you about when I saw what AI in my training, what AI did yesterday, I was flabbergasted. And I'm going to show you, because by the end of the day, I'm going to post a video of me speaking about my upcoming training. And it's just going to be a still picture that I'm using to do that. Okay. So I'm going to show you. It's so weird. You're going to see facial expression, smile, everything. Oh my God, have mercy. Listen, don't get caught in it. Right. So anyway, what was I saying before I switched my mind? I forgot what I was talking about. Oh my Lord. Um Pastor Lexi said, "We are never scared. We prepare. Let's go, people of God." And I don't remember what I was saying before I got, there's so much stuff in my mind right now. It's so like my mind is going faster than my mouth. But you were talking about retiring. Perfect. Thank you, Pastor Lexi. So when I retired, I started to go into business. So I started my business in 2016, right? I realized that all of that 25 years of knowledge and training and experience that I had, when I brought it over to the business world, I had no clue what I was doing. None, 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 none. No clue about what I was doing. I felt like a total inadequate person. I'm like, how could I have all of this experience with training and organizational development and coaching and helping people to speak and helping people become their best and running a number of stores, being a regional vice president, going to Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia, New Orleans, Puerto Rico, North Carolina, South Carolina, and still feel inadequate as a business owner. Because although you can transfer the skills, you do not know the fundamental basics of the business. I did not know it. I thought I could just take everything I knew into a business. I felt inadequate, and I'm using that word because my coach told me never to use it again, and I've never used that word. I invested. I'm like, I need to know more. I invested in a coach that taught me everything about how to rock the stage as a speaker, right? Marshawn Evans Daniels. And I spent thousands of dollars in a 1-year academy learning how to speak on the stage. I mastered that. Then I spent thousands of dollars with April Franks learning how to really hone my business skills. That is where I met 6 other women. We were in this mastermind together. Lexi is one of them. Pastor Lexi was one of them. Good morning, Cousin Elaine. Nice to see you. Hey, Pat Marston. Nice to see you. And so I remember going into this mastermind and being among these other 6 women who I felt like knew way more than I did, right? There was only one person in this mastermind that was older than I was by probably a few years, right? But I felt old and antiquated because 4 of these other ladies were young, they were hip. One had already made $1 million in her business. Then there was a Pastor Lexi who was like so phenomenal in everything that she was doing. And then there was Lisa, a New York Times bestselling author. And there's all these, Erica Etienne, who was like working in the military. They're all people and I did not have a college degree. So I felt insignificant and I felt inadequate. And I wanted to pull out. I was 52 years old when I was a part of this group, 52. And I was supposed to build a landing page and didn't know how to build a landing page, did not know what a landing page was, did not understand what the heck was I supposed to do with a landing page. And I remember being on a call with all 7 of us. And when they said, well, Joan, you got to create a landing page. And I literally was embarrassed to tell them I don't know how to create a landing page. And I ended up crying. Lexi knows the whole story. I ended up like bawling like a baby. And Rhonda White built the landing page for me. Right? Today, I can build a whole website if I choose to. It's not in my sphere of expertise. So I don't do it. I pay to get it done. Right? But where I was 7 years ago to where I am now, it's night and day. And I'm sharing this with you because at 52, I learned how to do things that I never knew I could, right? And a 20-year-old, a 30-year-old, a 40-year-old can't touch me in certain things, technology wise, that I know now. Can't touch me, right? Because I was intentional about educating myself so that I don't get left behind at 58, 59, 60, 65, 70. I'm still going to be learning. And what I love about learning, it expands your brain power, your brain waves. It keeps you from getting Alzheimer. I don't know. That's what I heard. I'm just saying that right now, right? But it keeps your brain active. It stimulates the brain. So the more you learn is the more you are alert, is the more you stay on top of things. It's the more your body, reacts to what the brain is doing. So all I'm sharing today, this morning, is telling you that stay in the know. Come to these conferences. Come to these conferences, especially when it is being, but it's being done by your average entrepreneur that's out here with a small business, right? We are not a big conglomerate of a ministry, but we have the same power as any mega church. And let me tell you, I heard someone saying, I think my pastor posted this yesterday, a preacher in Atlanta was saying that some of the best pastors do not have a church. They don't have a church because guess what? It's not in the building where we're going to save lives. It's out on the road. It's outside. It's out on the street. It's out on these internet streets where we're going to save lives. Because guess what? The people who need us is not walking into those buildings. The people who need us is not going on a Sunday morning sitting in a mega church. And consequently, the people who go to these mega churches sometimes and sit in it still feel unseen, still feels invisible, because the church is so big that nobody gets to touch them. Right? Nobody teaches them how to study the Bible. Nobody teaches them how to read the word, break it down, understand the context, understand the historical narrative of the scripture, of the chapter. Nobody teaches them that, because with these huge church, the goal is to get in, get the word, bring people to the altar, and make members of the church. In our ministry, they're covenant partners because it's a covenant with God. It's a partnership to help people to understand the role that we are supposed to play on the earth realm. The word purpose means for that which something is created. That is what purpose means. For that which something is created. You don't have to trust me. Go look in the dictionary or wherever. That is what purpose means. So it means that just us being here is purposed. Just our breath, just breathing in and breathing out is speaking the name of God, which is Yahweh. You take the breath in, is you take the breath out. It's even our breath says the name of God. So we're purposed to do something here. And I'm going to ask you, just as like I asked you earlier, what have you done to give God the return on his investment? What have you done? Let me see. I want to see who said this comment. Patricia White said, Joan, you're always so vulnerable. Thank you so much for being who you are, always sharing and motivating others. I'm walking out purpose. I'm walking out. God did not teach me all of this at this age for me to not share it. For me to not share it. I can look at somebody in their 20s and 30s and say, oh my God, if I had known what they know at that age, where would I be today? But then I have to stop comparing. It was not in the cards for me to know all of that until this age, because I'm purposed to help those who feel like they're older and don't know how to get there. I am the living example of hope, personified. I am HOPE in flesh. In flesh. God has been using me. And I can tell you all the mess, the domestic violence, the homelessness, right? The lack of a degree, all of that stuff. Because God wants you to see that he's no respecter of person. He's not going to use just because I have a degree. He's not going to use you just because. He's going to take someone that no one sees or recognize and put what he needs to put in them so that you cannot make a mistake and give me any credit, because the credit belongs to God. I'm a publisher without a degree. That credit goes to God, because the average person, and I know that thing inside out. So what I'm sharing with you, he's taken this little girl from Jamaica, who's an older woman now, right? And he has imparted into her and placed people in her life. Why? Because he knew she was bold enough to share her messed up story for the world to hear, and to come on Facebook since 2018 talking about him even before she know how to study the Bible. Because when I started Monday Morning Motivation in 2018, I had no knowledge of how to truly dive into the scripture until God sent Juanita Corey Jackson in my life. And then everything changed. And then I have like Pastor Lexi and Erica and Dee Edwards and Danita and those people in my circle that I learned from. And they're all younger than me. Right? So I'm sharing with you what I know. I'm sharing with you the passion in my heart. I'm sharing with you all of this stuff to let you know that you just have to want it bad enough to go find it. And if you want it bad enough, God is going to equip you. God is going to give you all the knowledge. First of all, let me just share this with you. If you're here this morning watching me, you're selected, you're significant, and you are supplied. So if you're watching me this morning, you're selected, you're significant, and you are supplied. You are already called and you are qualified. You don't need man to qualify you. You don't need man to give you a piece of paper on a wall that says you have a bachelor's degree and you have a master's degree and you have a PhD. I have the PhD of God the Father. And I may never get a piece of paper in my hand to say I have a bachelor or a master's or a PhD, but I'm showing up in my PhD ability from my Father, because that matters more to me than the piece of paper that a man gives to me. Yep. That's what I have for you this morning. I hope it inspired you. But two things: if you live in Charlotte, if you have not bought your ticket to the conference, we have 3 tickets left. That's it. Listen, we're done. We're not going to say anything more about that conference after this morning. Why? Because we're not going to force you. We're not going to force you to get inspired and to come learn some things that can change your life, right? If you hear the word and it comes out, go in one ear and come out, then you're not for us, right? Just straight talk. And secondly, the conference that's coming, not the conference, the masterclass that's coming up on May the 27th. Again, you don't have to join it. No matter what, if you don't purchase any of these things, it's up to you, right? We can't force you. Again, as I said before, sometimes God shows up in front of you day after day, month after month, year after year. You hear the same thing, but instead of sitting down and settling down and try to figure it out, you would prefer scroll through the internet every single day, liking everybody posts, commenting on everybody posts, and wondering why you can't move from where you are. That's a personal thing. That ain't got nothing to do with God, right? You just are disobedient. You're just, and I may not be talking to anybody. I'm just talking. I'm just saying what God gave to me. I'm just talking now, like the way God drops stuff in my spirit. That's what I do. Okay. I don't have no pen, no paper, no notepad, no nothing. I'm just flowing. I'm flowing with the spirit this morning. All right. God bless you. I love you. Thank you for jumping on. And as we continue in the month of May, my prayer and my direction to you is to find someone to serve this month, right? I want you to serve 5 people this month, however you do it, right? I got a chance to serve 4 last week. And I'm sure between now and the end of this week, there's some more people I'm going to serve, right? If you have some books, gift your books away, pray for someone, pick up the phone, call someone who you haven't heard of in a long time, forgive someone who created an offense towards you, and just put it on there. Just let it be, let it go, brush it off your shoulders, right? Drop and put away all these offenses that we have in our heart. Pray for our men. Pray for our men, right? Our men are going through some challenges. Pray for our men, our husbands, our significant others, our pastors, our elders, our sons, our grandsons, our brothers, our nephews, our in-laws. Pray for our men, right? The enemy is after them. But we as women, right? We can step on the head of the enemy. The enemy will bruise the heel of our sons, but we can step on the head of the enemy. We have the power as women to do that. God bless you. I love you all. I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.